Welcome to the Nerd Pow Wow. Follow us on YouTube where we upload new videos every Friday, or check us out on your favorite podcast platform. Spoiler warning. We do deep dives on characters, storylines, and theory crafting. With that said, Maribane, what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to dive into a little bit of science fiction, right? Specifically science fiction spoofing. Galaxy Quest. Great movie, good time, hit all the key points. I'm a big fan. I know you guys are too, so figured we'd change it up a little bit and head to outer space.
Love it.
I like
Love
it. Greetings, fellow Quintarians. How's it going?
Yeah. By Grabthar's hammer.
Oh my gosh.
No,
never give up, never surrender.
Never give up, never
theme.
surrender.
You know what? I love it.
It is. It was a movie, and it even if you didn't see any of the sci-fis that it spoofed, and it spoofed a lot. It had a lot of little Easter eggs and things that were funny. Even if you didn't watch those, it was a fun comedic science fiction.
Yeah. Oh,
with
absolutely.
enough. I mean, it was a dramedy, I would almost call it, because it had real story to it. It had real drama, real tragedy. It had all kinds of stuff in there. It was a real movie. It wasn't like
it wasn't a scary movie or something like that.
Right,
it was a real movie.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't the science fiction
made to
movie
spoof
a
real movie. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It was a little satirical, but like I said, it wasn't as all over the top as
like Spaceballs or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Spaceballs. It just even Spaceballs had more story than Scary Movie. But
that's fair. No, that's fair.
But yeah, coming up to the podcast, I watched it again, and it was just as good watching it this time. I really greatly enjoyed it. Noticed a lot of funny things. So, you guys recently watched it too? I know for yourself. So, what stood out to you guys that you may have not picked up when you were watching it years ago?
I remember, I guess when we talked about it, I had forgotten a lot of the movie. Obviously, I remember Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver were in it. And I remember back when people were criticizing the movie, saying Tim Allen's not a sci-fi guy. He's the home improvement type of guy. I thought he did excellent.
He did.
I mean, yeah, he played an actor playing a captain or a commander, but still, he did a nice job. He did a very good job, in my opinion.
You could almost buy him I would almost buy it, especially that when they did the return of Galaxy Quest at the end, when they had the commercial for the series returning in the show.
Yeah,
like when he's all without the long hair and all that corny gimmick thing, 80s thing. But it looked like I could almost watch that. It was pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you know what. So Tony Shalhoub, the guy from the show Monk, that plays Fred Kwan. So when I first saw the movie when I was a kid, it's been a long time since then, right? I had no idea that was the same actor that was in Monk, and I watched it and I was like, wait a minute, I had no idea Monk was in this freaking movie.
It is, and he might be my favorite character in the movie.
He's good, yeah.
Yeah, other than Sigourney for all the wrong reasons.
Well,
his nonchalant nature, with the exception of the trying to beam up what's his face. Other than that scene, he's like, wow. When he got teleported there via the gel pod, he's like, that was interesting. That was kind of cool. And just everybody's freaking out, can't get their legs, and he's just like, it's kind of neat. But
yeah, he beamed up that attack pig inside out, and then it exploded.
Oh, that was so funny.
And even the guy that was standing there, the one that was working the teleporter with them, the
Thermian. I don't.
Yeah, Nemian. He that actor was the recruiter in Deadpool. The guy who recruited Deadpool to get powers. Same actor.
Ah.
Yeah, I was like, because I'm kind of weird with faces, so I'm seeing all these people in this show, and I'm like, holy crap, that's so and so, like Rainn Wilson.
Oh yeah,
For instance,
there's so
you know what
many
I mean?
actors that are so recognizable.
And this is years before The Office. This was only his third role ever. He was in a soap opera, I think, The Days of Our Lives or something. He was in, and then some other like no show, and then Galaxy Quest. So it's crazy. I mean, and then you have serious actors like Alan Rickman.
Oh yeah,
Talk about
he was my favorite character. I love the dead delivery, the dryness, how it parodies how some of these actors really are. It's kind of a don't meet your heroes story, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you get into it, you really realize that some of your heroes aren't they're just people like you and me. They make mistakes.
And there's a redemption arc to it too, which I'm a sucker for a good redemption arc. You know what I mean? The guy, especially for Tim Allen's character. I mean,
the arrogant, cocky guy or whatever is just comes off dickish. Actually becoming a charismatic leader at the end, and really selling it.
And that in itself is a direct rip on freaking William Shatner. Because I've heard a million times that William Shatner is not easy, that he's very cocky, and even back in he used to act in like Black and White. He was in the old original Twilight Zone. He was in a lot of things before Star Trek. He considered himself, at least then, as like an elite actor. Like he was the epitome of drama and the high quality actor. He was so arrogant. And I know that they were just ripping on him. That was totally a caricature. I mean, shit, with the little rolling around thing. Every time he goes somewhere, he's doing shoulder rolls. Shoulder roll over here, shoulder roll over there. It's so Kirk. That was so Kirk. I'm like, oh my God, it's so corny and I love it so much.
That's hilarious.
That's another thing. Tim Allen, that's a Tim Allen character, is a high ego type of guy. Even Home Improvement, Santa Claus, what other movies he's been in, he's this high ego guy. So I think he played the part very well.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think it's just comical watching a character with that big of an ego just try and navigate through things too. Kind of the same with like Darkwing Duck, kind of. It's got the same kind of feel there.
Yep. Yeah. High ego.
Yep.
And I liked his character's complete detachment. Like he couldn't understand why the other actors were standoffish or upset. Like for a while, it was like he couldn't even fathom what was going on. He's so narcissistic that he can't even see others at all. He's completely oblivious to them.
Has zero perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, put the three of us in a situation where aliens came to us, beamed us up to the ship. Hey, take the captain's chair, take Khan, take this. And all of a sudden, we have to engage in battle on this alien race. Would the three of us actually go through with it, or would we just cower in a corner? I mean,
I feel like I'd do my best to navigate it, especially given in the situation. But I don't know if I'd be like, shoot him.
I mean, exactly. Like, just get me out of here.
I mean, my chair might be my captain chair might be a little squishy, but I'd do what needs to get done. Okay.
I mean, I'm definitely a when
the
it comes
clean
to
white atmosphere would be ruined.
Yeah. There'd be like an up triangle crease in my chair where I've just clenched that vinyl. But no.
Or when the three of us hop in a shuttlecraft because we need a sphere to power our spaceship, all of a sudden we see these little creatures with his big teeth and they just ate one of their friends. I'm like, what? You look out. We're going to go get the sphere.
Yeah.
I just look at this like, what would I do in that situation?
There's a twisted part of me that would welcome like the zombie apocalypse. You know what I mean? That being put in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
I know, like I tell people all the time, I'm not necessarily the guy to make the plan. I can make a plan, but there's a million other people that I would choose to make a better plan. Like I would pick somebody on the team to make the plan because I feel like they'd be a better strategist, a better idea. I'm the guy you want when the whole plan goes to shit. I think well on my feet. When everything's flying, there's dust, debris. That's when I'm at my best. It's just when I flourish. Is when I can't. I don't have time to stop and overanalyze. I'm just doing. I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm doing. I'm doing. That's my sweet spot. So I you don't get that in your day to day life too much. There's not enough explosions.
Not enough.
It's
Not
enough
enough
explosions at all.
explosions. Darn it.
No
Your alarm,
zombies, no fucking explosions, boring shit.
your alarm goes off in the morning. You hop in the shower. You go to work. You come home from work. Yeah, you might fit a workout in. Maybe you definitely got to get dinner.
That's it.
None of that is zombie
Like-
apocalypse.
Please, someday, please.
Just something
Like,
new,
come
you
on.
know? Just a little
Yeah,
change of
sure.
pace.
Yeah, something to get the heart racing a little bit.
Yeah, like feel like you're alive. Like we don't get reminded that we're alive near often enough. We might. What's the difference between us and your average automaton? You know what I mean? What is the difference? Then that machine that's cranking stuff out on the assembly line every day, building the cars. The only difference is we get fucking hungry. Occasionally we get horny. That's about it. I just want more. I just want something more out of it. So that's why this shit appeals to me. That's why shows like this and things like that, because it's a little escapism, a little idea of having a flair, having something more. So, but yeah, I mean, then the show was good for that. You could dive yourself into it because it did take normal people. I mean, they were actors, but people grounded in like people that didn't have any special abilities. I mean, shit, poor Sigourney Weaver, she actually got quoted in there saying is that she felt like she lost IQ points every time she put that wig on. Because her character's whole job was, I mean, it was supposed to be a spoof of girls in sci-fi and how badly they were just diminished back in the day.
Well, and I have to say, Sigourney did an amazing job in that role. She did great.
Sigourney's a fantastic actress.
And I can name 3 reasons.
I think her.
She's a great actress, and then
good
left and right.
And terrible people. We're both good people and terrible people at the same time. Yeah. We're very yin yang when it comes to this shit. But no, Sigourney gets casted a lot of action roles and fantasy, science fiction, comedy. And I think sometimes people downplay her actual skill set because of that, because they're lighthearted roles.
Yeah.
But she's phenomenal. I think she's a phenomenal actress.
Yeah.
I can't give her enough credit. And she was just one of many in this show. I mean, there were people in there from all over, like people I didn't recognize. Like, again, I always catch faces. One of the aliens was Dean Bacher. I don't know if I'm butchering his name. Did you ever see Basketball?
Yeah.
By the guys from South Park. The guy that played Little Bitch in the movie was one of the aliens. The guy that they made sleep in the dog bed in the corner in their house.
That's hilarious. That's funny. I didn't catch that now.
I'm like going through it. I'm like, holy crap! I'm just recognizing all these. Even what was her name in the show? Laliar, the one that Tony's character ended up staying with, the alien girl.
Yeah.
She was the big eyebrow girl in Dodgeball.
Oh yeah, yeah, she was. Oh,
she's been in a lot of stuff. She's pretty cool too. But it's just kind of funny seeing all these people.
It's funny you mentioned Dodgeball.
What's that?
I watched Dodgeball the other night for the first time since I was a kid. And
really?
Yeah, a friend of mine, we were just sitting there and he put it on. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny you mentioned that because it's fresh in my mind.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, did you ever watch a show called Veronica Mars? Do you know what that is?
No.
Originally it was like kind of like a teen detective. The girl's dad was a cop and she was like a teen detective. It's what's her name? Kristen Bell. Kristen Bell's a big character. This is kind of like her.
Oh, okay.
What brought her to fame. But anyway, the one guy, Mathazar, Enrico Colantoni or whatever his last name is, was her dad in the show. In that movie too. So I just see all these people, I'm like, holy crap, that's the guy who played the Detective Mars in in that show. So
Poor Mathazar, his heart broke
he was
when
a little
when
pathetic sound.
Jason had to tell him this is a lie. This is just a TV show. It's fiction. And his heart's just he's laying on. It's just, his heart's breaking.
Yeah.
That was genuinely moving. It was pathetic.
It was.
Like he was so pathetic. He was so forlorn and broken. Like
Forsaken,
and-
even.
John, did you ever watch Babylon 5?
No, actually.
Well, there's a character in there, a race in there called the Narn, and the one guy's name, I'm gonna butcher his name. It's Talik, something like that. I'm terrible with names, but there's like reptilian creature, the Narn, in there, and I always thought that Saris kind of reminded me of that race, of that guy. And after watching it today, I realized it's the same actor.
Oh,
that's why.
It's the same actor. He played a few different characters in Babylon 5. Same one. I was like, well, that explains that whole high cheekbone. If you see a picture of a Narn from Babylon 5 and then think of lobster leg head, Sarah,
yeah.
just lobster leg sticking out of there. But that always cracks me up in science fiction with. I don't mind additional appendages in science fiction. I think it's kind of cool, whatever. But I like when they have some kind of function.
Yeah.
There's absolutely zero purpose for you to have an opposable appendage just straight up. They can't reach your mouth. They can't do. They're not going to defend you from small bird attacks. I'm like, because the whip flies away. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's like, I don't know. Like they just like. What's that?
The sheriffs reminded me of Star Trek Voyager, the Hirogen.
Yeah.
The Hirogen more were prey. They're hunters and they're trying to get their prey, but just the way they looked and the way they acted, it was very similar to me of the Hirogen.
That same thing. You know something I missed in but when I watched it before until now too. So when Tim Allen's character fires on the guy's ship originally when they're in the negotiation.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that eye patch with the metal with the spikes on it in his artificial hand, those were injuries from that attack. He didn't have those when he first got on there.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that. I was watching, I'm like, wait, he didn't have that a minute ago. And I realized it's all because that scarring, it's all injuries of that attack. He just survived.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's neat. Yeah, it would give him a lot more reason to hate Tim Allen's character, too, which was, I guess that movie really got butchered on the editing table. I guess there was a lot they got cut out.
Oh, okay.
So much so that there's even scenes that there's a weird, like, you know how sometimes things move in a camera and you're doing it, like there's, in the scene with the blue button where they're gonna deactivate the self-destruct. If you notice in that scene, Sigourney Weaver's shirt is zipped up. They push the blue button and they come back and her shirt's like down to her navel. Like it's completely unzipped.
Yeah.
That's the way it stayed the rest of the movie.
Yep.
Yeah. And the reason being is because they cut a huge scene where when they were in that room, there wasn't one of the Saris's guards was coming in there and she's trying to seduce him to distract him from what's going on in there. But they just cut the whole scene. And they didn't want to refilm all the rest of it with her shirt zipped up for the continuity break because they figured people would notice it. But I watched it on Amazon. And Amazon has these cool little like blurbs if you mouse over the show while you're watching it.
Yeah.
So there's little like info there so once in a while, and I caught that one. That was where I caught that one, was why there was that inconsistency there. It was kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a good movie overall.
Yeah.
I mean, good acting. Even in the comedic role, people downplay the skill of comedic acting.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman was phenomenal, as like you said, with his pan delivery, and then he even got to be a hard ass.
Yeah.
When he's fighting those he's kind of an intellectual guy. He's kind of kind of scary intellectual, but he definitely channeled his inner what was his character in Die Hard? Oh, come on.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
No.
Hans
Hans.
Gruber, yeah.
Yeah, Hans
So,
Gruber.
so he definitely channeled his inner Hans Gruber when he turns around and decides to fight. And then he's just, I don't know, he looked like a older man, tired, fighting in the hallway, and it was really realistic. Like you're just going with savagery, just whatever it takes to survive. He wasn't fighting because he was skilled. He was fighting because he made a decision, and that was really well done.
Yeah, well, part of it too, it kind of shows like character growth for all these different characters in this, right? Like that was his character developing, really, because he started more like rejected, more I mean almost consigned to like is just resigned to a fate, right? That okay, I'm just this role, I'm going to go to these fan meetups to make some money on the side or whatever, like but at the end, he really gets into himself and he gets that gets into his physical body in that way. So,
yep,
I like how he kept
crazy.
his makeup on the whole time until the end, obviously, but
yeah,
he just looked like that the whole movie.
yep.
He never took that off. I mean, it was damaged from the fight. You
Yeah.
can see his hair, but he never took that off. Even that scene where he was on the phone call with Sigourney talking about the captain. He's in his hotel room and he had that headgear on. Like, it's kind of funny. He wore the headgear better than any of his fans did in the audience too. Did you notice that? Like all of his audience and his fans had this headgear, and it always looked like awkward and weird. And that was such symbolic of people wearing like Spock ears.
Yeah.
And they just had like the plastic things. They don't match, and Spock's ears were always pretty flawless. I just thought that was kind of hilarious too.
I like the red shirt guy, Sam Rockwell's the actor, the scummy looking kind of guy.
Yeah.
Man, he just, you see him and you're like, oh, he's a scuzzball. He's going to betray everyone. Like, that's your first thought. Like, look at this guy.
Yep. And he
red shirt.
I mean, come on. And he's like saying at the beginning, I'm going to die. I'm going to freaking die. It's so good.
At one point in time, during the little creature things, she said that she's like, Sigourney Weaver's like, oh my god, they're gonna kill Sam. They're like, she like yelled it. She's like, that was just, oh my god, that was just so funny. She's like, we're gonna
so
screw up and they're gonna kill him. She didn't worry about any of them. She just assumed he was gonna get it as the red shirt.
Well, on the shuttlecraft on the way down. You don't even know my last name. Nobody knows my last name. I'm just an extra.
Crewman 6. Good old Crewman 6.
Oh, it's so hilarious.
Who was it? Which one told him that maybe he was plucky comic relief? Was that Tony, wasn't it?
Didn't he tell? Yeah, I can't remember now.
I think it was Tony Shalhoub's character said, maybe you're not the one who dies. Maybe you're the plucky comic relief. And he kind of was like, oh. So good.
There's a lot of good characters in this show. When I play D&D, I always stick a lot of the times. I'll choose human as my race, and I think I do that because it makes me create a more creative character than if it was just some elf or some orc. Like I have to really think about the backstory and all that, right, to really make this character stand out in a party, adventuring party. I think this show this movie kind of demonstrates that in a way where all of the main characters, they're just humans, right? And we're talking about a sci-fi landscape of, where typically like the thing is everybody's like a different race or whatever, right? And, there's some different face, but they really nail down with, the personalities of all the individual characters, making them so distinct. They're almost all alien to each other.
Yeah.
Because none of them deal with the same struggles or go through the same hardships. They all kind of find themselves at odds by nature, but they all kind of get together at the end and still work it out, which is, in the end, it's character growth for everybody.
That's a great point. Those characters are wildly different.
Really?
Without the show, none of that crew would have been in the same place at the same time.
No. No.
Not a chance.
And not a chance. So that's a really good observation. That's really kind of neat. But to your point about Sam Rockwell too, Sam Rockwell always plays kind of like a guy you don't necessarily trust. Because remember, he was Justin Hammer in Iron Man.
Yes, he was.
Oh yeah,
Iron Man 2, yeah. And I mean, so he's just always that guy. Like he's seems like his guy's always got an angle. He's always got something going on.
Always got a scheme, something.
Yeah.
Up to something.
Yeah, it's just, and going on more with the Star Trek parallels. Did you notice that? I didn't notice until today that that field with mines. They called it a Tothian minefield instead of Tolian, which was the Tolian minefields in Star Trek. I'm like, wow, geez, like one letter.
Good catch. Good catch.
Yeah, it was like Tothian, and I only caught that one because I happened to have closed captioning on, and I saw the word. I'm like, I'm like Tolian. I'm like, no, it says Tothian, not Tolian. Because they just thought that was.
That's a good catch. Yeah.
Yeah, there was all kinds of stuff they did in that, and they even referred. Sigourney Weaver at one point in time said that he had slept with every Tarakian slave girl and Moon Princess. Both of those are direct rips on the original series of Star Trek. Yeah, you had the Orion slave girls, and like, it was just funny.
Or even you could go to the next generation for Riker.
Yeah, well, seriously. And another thing I picked up on the blurbs on the Amazon Prime thing, the sound of the doors opening and closing, they took that sound bite from the original Doom video game. It's the sound of the doors opening and closing in Doom. That's what that kind of sound. That's where they took that sound bite, the direct sound bite from the video game.
That's fun.
There's neat shit in that. I don't know. I just really appreciate that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even the special effects for its time, like, really good.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, yeah, this costume design, ship design, it was all good. It was all good. I mean, I forget what the name of the race of Ceres' race was, but even that ship, ship also was reminiscent of, I call it the cornucopia in space. I can't remember the original series, but it was also the same one in Star Trek 4. That, like, cone-shaped thing that would come through space and just kind of consume everything. That ship looked a lot like that.
Doomsday.
That's what it was. It was the Doomsday machine. Yep. Exactly what it was. But
it was the Ceres was the leader, but the alien race was Sherish. They're Serish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was just an ISH at the end.
That's funny. That's hilarious in itself.
There's the Sherish.
There's the Sherish. Yeah.
Yeah, but I remember in the 90s, well, it came out in 1999, it did not do well. And a lot of people were criticizing it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember as a kid, I didn't really care for it either. But I really enjoyed it when I watched it. I was split it between yesterday and today. I'm like, this is a good movie. I really like this.
Excellent. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
But I have similarities with, say, Babylon 5, Stargate SG-1. There's also Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and then also Star Trek Enterprise. I didn't like those as kids either, and I've since watched them as an adult. I'm like, I really like these.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it was that maybe my infant or adolescent mind didn't care for that stuff, but the adult mind really does.
Oh, and there's a maturity to the humor.
Yeah.
In it that I know I didn't have when I was that age. I didn't see the subtlety. Like in little shit I picked up today that was crazy. You know when they first pod over to the ship that the crew does and they're standing there getting scanned by the aliens in their alien forms? That scene there? The scanner that they're clasping in front of Sigourney Weaver's face is a speculum. It's the gynecologist's tool, and they're just putting it right in her face opening and closing it. I'm like, I was so sure that's what it was. I actually looked up to make sure it wasn't wrong, and it absolutely was. Someone just got a speculum. It's stuck in that poor girl's face. It was clapping in there. I'm
you
like,
know, there's probably some line that you can draw there with like Hollywood's treatment of women and like some kind of symbolism. I don't know where it's at or how to make that connection work, but I can see something there.
And I could also see that being like, because the satire in it when it came to that was absolutely pointing out how women were kind of typecast in science fiction for a long time and ripping on that. And I'm sure that was just another flamboyant way of, or almost flamboyant and subtle at the same time, which is an odd way of saying it, but way of pointing that out, like just to grab this thing that, generally speaking, most guys wouldn't recognize a speculum if it was sitting on the table in front of them. They don't know what the hell that is. Your average dude doesn't know what that is. Why would we? We don't see it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so it was kind of almost put in there for a girl to recognize, for her to see that and be like, it just only a guy would put that in there as a scanner. You know what I mean, kind of thing. It just I don't know. There's a certain thing about it that was great.
Tickles you.
So, yeah, like I said, the whole movie. Another thing I noticed about it too, at the very end, they have it. I was looking to see like end credit things. I'm always scanning for those. I don't know why, even though this is a decade or before end credits were like a thing, except for Ferris Bueller. But at the very end of the thing, Malthazar goes, "Never give up, never surrender." You just hear it in the background after the credits.
I didn't stay for the end scene.
I can't say I did either.
I'm always, I don't know. I'm weird like that. I'm always like, just kind of like watching through the credits, and I just watched the very end of it, and there it was. And it's in the background. You can just hear him just in his little like weird vibrato voice say it. It's kind of crazy, but I don't know. I think you're right. You mentioned earlier before we came online, Wayne, that you enjoyed it more now than you did before, and I think that even though I enjoyed it before, I probably did because I think I just got more out of it. I got a lot more out of it this time.
I mean, I was younger when it came out. I didn't pick up everything or draw all the same lines, so it was good getting a fresh watch of it, getting a new perspective, and kind of a different look at the acting careers of some of these actors that now are a lot more recognizable than they were then. And
Justin Long, I'm a huge Justin Long fan. I think he's great. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I feel like one of the biggest crimes ever committed was not making him Nightwing in the. They hinted towards having him be end up in the DC movies because he appeared in there, and he never ended up being cast in any of those. Because I think it's one of the biggest crimes. Because I'm a big fan of Justin Long. Did you ever see the movie Waiting with him, Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I love that movie.
That was a funny movie.
Yeah.
Over the top, great movie. So funny. Like, I don't know how many friends I've traumatized with a good chicken wing. Yeah, it was just amazing. The cast was amazing.
It really was.
Yeah, you just don't realize just who's all in there until you're like, wow.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver really. When you think of her, you think of the Predator movies. So just seeing her in that movie.
You mean the Alien?
Or Alien?
Yeah,
Alien movies. Wait. Yeah, not Predator.
Yeah, I just threw me off for saying, wait, what?
Wait, she was in the Predator movies? No, Alien movies.
Yeah,
but yeah, I thought she played really well in those movies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
To see her in Galaxy Quest, it was a different type of character, but it was a good character nonetheless.
Mm-hmm. And I Sigourney hit before that for me because I always think of Sigourney from Ghostbusters.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Ghostbusters that hits for me when it comes to Sigourney, then Alien, and then of course the Avatar movie. She had a great role in that too. So
yep.
I've watched her in quite a few sci-fi type roles.
Tim Allen, everybody probably remembers from Home Improvement.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course, Home Improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
that Santa movie that he was in.
The Santa Claus. There was
the
3
Santa
of them,
Claus.
weren't there?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, there was 3 Santa Claus movies. Then he was in Toy Story.
Yep.
Oh, of course. Yep. Yep.
And
And he had
also,
that other series, Last Man Standing.
Yes. That ran for almost 10 years.
Yeah. I wasn't really my show, but I appreciated Tim Allen in it. The show, yeah, it wasn't my show, but Tim Allen's always I've never really been disappointed by him.
Yeah, he always brings a unique character. At least a character you can respect and has redeeming qualities. Sometimes a little arrogant. He does have a type that he can play a little bit better, I think. But
so just recently this year, he played in a series called Shifting Gears, which I enjoyed. I watched the whole season. I tried to get my wife to watch it with me, and she's like, "Oh, Tim Allen, it's the guy." I'm like, No, he hasn't done it yet. So it's the 3rd episode, and I have it on. Of course, he does it. I'm like, and then he hasn't done it the rest of the series, but he did it right then when she was watching. I'm like, how did that happen?
That second, that's so funny.
I'm like, how did that even happen? Really? But Home Improvement. I really liked Home Improvement.
Yeah, what was the name of the kid in that became famous for a flash in the pants and then he was gone?
That was Jonathan Taylor Thomas. He was the voice of Simba in Lion King.
That kid was like everything for a minute.
Yeah.
And then poof. You never hear about him again.
Yep.
And I think the older one, Brad, I can't remember his real name, but he got in some legal problems. I can't remember what it is at the moment, but Jonathan Taylor Thomas, he was just a shot in the dark, and then he was gone.
There, and he was like everything. I think he was on the cover of every teen magazine show ever for a while there, and
then the youngest one, Mark, I don't think he was in anything after Home Improvement.
Mm-mm. Oh, speaking of actors, the one character, Neru, is the another one of the aliens. That you ever watch Scrubs?
Yeah. I love Scrubs. That show's
the psychiatrist that like really like backwards, tall, skinny, he's bald. He's got the puffy hair on the side. Nervous all the time. That was him.
I didn't even catch him.
I didn't Neru in that one. Yeah, it's crazy the people they stuck in that.
And I'm sure a lot of those people was earlier in their acting career, so a lot of those people were just like, "Hey, cool, I got a job."
26 years ago. That's not a short amount of time.
Yeah. Yep.
Was Justin Long in anything before that?
I don't know.
He was pretty young in that movie.
He was.
I can't remember if.
Because I don't remember him in anything before that, and I don't remember him from it until I watched it again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was then that I was like, oh, that's Justin Long. He wouldn't have been very old in that either. Like,
he looks like he's 16.
He is a perpetually young-looking guy, which is just as the way his face structure is. But Galaxy Quest was his first appearance in anything. According to IMDb, anyway.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Huh.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But and now that poor kid, the other kid that acted in it, that he did that's the longest neck I've seen on a human being in my entire life.
Oh no!
I was like, I saw the kids thinking, I'm like, holy shit, that neck. I'm like, wow. He sees over everything.
He sure does.
It's not because he has long legs; he has a long neck.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. He reminded me of, and I feel terrible for saying it, but he reminded me of Beaker.
No! Oh my gosh! You are the insult master.
It's like, I don't know. It's just crazy. But I don't know.
That's hilarious.
It was like, I saw that and I'm like, whoa. Wow. But sorry.
No,
I mean, just
there's probably
saying.
cartoon characters that remind you of me. Who knows? And you and
Yeah.
Sarah, who knows?
I've been told I look like every bald person that's ever existed in all time. So
All right, calm
you-
down, Mr. Clean, okay?
yeah,
Are you Sir Patrick
Xavier
Stewart?
Chip.
Come on.
Right. I said I feel like people start observing me and they get to here. From here up, I look like everybody else. Like, funny.
Speaking
Yeah.
of Sir Patrick Stewart, they show clips of them putting a wig on him in pilots, and I'm so glad they didn't go with that route. Like, no. Because that bald head is iconic.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes.
I actually use his hairdo as the reason that I shave my head because I tell people I will never go full Picard. I don't know why people ever leave hair here. Like, what the hell? I'm not trying to pull a Gallagher out of my hat here. Like, get out of here. What the hell? Like, get rid of it.
That's something my dad, growing up, he started going bald when he was 14. And, when I was growing up, he took as little amount of hair as he could and tried to do a comb over. And then finally, it was just a Saturn ring, like a Dr. Phil. Yeah. But he never went full bald.
No, just get rid of it.
No, he was like, "Oh, I'm hanging on by this little thread."
Yeah.
Hair is good. Bald is good. It's when you start getting all that weird shit in the middle. Like, just not my vibe. Just not gonna do it. I mean, I was 14 years old.
My dad was 14 when his hair started going.
It just started. Yeah, it started pulling back. I'm like, that's because I had. My uncle called it the hair turban.
The hair turban.
I used to have like when I was a kid. I was a BMX skater kid kinda, and I had like hair in my face a little bit. So then it started looking just like some kind of weird comb over, and I would Aquanet that shit up and make it cover. It's like poof it up. Oh my god! Why I did not have a single good friend growing up because any good friend would be like, dude, what are you doing? You need to cut all that shit off of your head. I got to college. I met some really good friends, and they were like, dude, what are you doing? Cut that shit off your head.
Oh, man.
But, yeah. I just...
You know what? You tried to hang on to it as long as you could,
Yeah.
In why? I don't know. The mentality, it fades. When it first starts to happen, you've got this weird terror, like, oh god, and then after a while, you're like, whatever.
Whatever.
Every 5 years, it's an unwanted DLC on my body. Okay, thanks a lot.
Right.
Congratulations, your knee cricks every time you stand up. Moving forward, thanks a lot.
Yeah, I have a lot of things in my life that I can change. So I'll focus on those instead of focusing on any kind of bullshit that I can't change.
Yeah.
Screw that.
Yeah.
Why bother?
Good way to look at it.
Yeah. But it's my own story arc, just like in Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, exactly. And I like how you say that it's like a spoof of other science fiction shows.
Yeah.
Because I don't know about your guys' comfort shows, but I'll rewatch The Next Generation of Star Trek and Voyager. If I'm bored, like Paramount Plus, Star Trek Voyager, or Star Trek Next Generation, that's my comfort show. And what would be your comfort shows?
Oof.
Just something you've watched a million times, but you're bored. I'll put this on.
Well, that's a tricky question for me because I don't rewatch stuff. It's very
really
odd for me. It's very weird for me to rewatch stuff. I mean, once in a while, if it's been years, I'll binge something or things. So I'm always looking for the new thing.
Yeah,
and I have pretty diverse tastes. I lean towards some science fiction some days, some fantasy other days, but I'm also a guy who likes procedurals.
Uh-huh.
I love foreign country reality TV. I hate American reality TV because Americans are just too over the top and looking for TV time and being weird. But in other countries, their reality TV, they're actually there for the game. You know what I mean? They're so you get this like glimpse into their culture because they're not being over top. And I like seeing these like other cultures. It's kind of entertaining. But so I go all over the gamut. So my comfort is finding something new, cool to binge, not a particular show. It's kind of weird. Like some people, like I know a lot of people who just rewatch the same things over and over, and I just can't.
That's with me with Star Trek. I'll rewatch the hell out of it. I'll finish the 7 seasons of Next Generation, do 7 seasons of Voyager, go back to Next Generation, watch 7 seasons. My comfort show.
Huh.
But you speaking about the foreign reality, did you ever watch MXC?
Oh yeah, it's Screen Elimination Challenge.
Yeah, yeah. I love that show. It was late at night.
About that to a friend of mine. With a friend of mine, we were talking about Japanese game shows in general, and MXC came up. But because I love, like I always said that if ever we were talking about immortality or whatever earlier, if we get to the point where I no longer had people to be around this area for, I'd move to Japan and be the token weird American on their game shows. That's what I would live my life like that for a while. Just play on weird game shows and be that weird American dude they put in the corner. Like on MXC, they had that really tall guy in the green bodysuit. They called him the Green Teabagger.
Yeah, I remember him.
Guy, this big furry American guy in a green bodysuit from here down, called the Green Teabagger. That's fucking epic. I'm sorry. It's so funny.
Man, you know, in some places, I'm known as the Green Teabagger.
That just sounds so fun to me. I'm sorry.
What about you, Sarah? Do you have a comfort show?
Well, you know, I'm kind of like Mariah in a little bit with that. There aren't a lot of shows that I'll rewatch. I'll go back and I'll watch Trigun every now and again, but not super often. I think I'm more of a music guy. Like I'll put on some old CDs or something and just listen to that, try and unwind and whatnot. I like to listen to Bringing Down the Horse from the Wallflowers. That's a good old one that I like to go back to every now and again. But yeah, I'm usually playing a game or something, so you know it's just like to have a little background music, some static there sometimes. But
yeah, I almost always have. I'm a music guy too. My house almost always has music in it. Like I have an Alexa device in every one of my rooms, and I just come in and walk in and tell her to play X, Y, or Z everywhere, and it just fills the whole space. And I just like existing in that space there. But I'm also a person who needs to be doing more than one thing. I can't just sit there and vibe just to the music, unless I'm with people and I can move around and we're dancing or something like that is different. But just sitting still vibing, nope. I got to be doing something different. My attention. I'm sure I'm an undiagnosed ADHD guy because I gotta be doing a million things, man. If I'm not, fuck, I'm not feeling it.
Well, that definitely shows, like, for our listeners, I want to hear in the comments if you have a comfort show or do you just watch something new. Like, let's find out what's new out there. I'm going to watch this, and I'm curious what all you guys say.
Yeah.
You know, if you guys do want something new that I strongly suggest, and there's only 2 episodes of it out, but both of them were fantastic, called Murderbot. It's on, I don't know if you have Apple TV, but it's fantastic. It's so good. It's the actor Alexander Skarsgård is the main character, and he he's a drone, like a cybernetic organism that's designed to protect people. This company makes them, and they're programmed to protect people or work as a guard or whatever. But they're AI, and they have organic components, including their brain. So they're basically enslaved intelligence. They're thinking, but they have a chip called a governor chip that keeps them from acting with free will.
Okay.
And the main character, Alexander Skarsgård's character, has hacked his chip. So, and now because he doesn't know what the hell he should do, like what should he do with this freedom? So he's just still playing the same role and trying not to be found out as having free will. And he's awkward and he's weird, like he hates making eye contact, so he's always looking at people like sideways. It's comedic, but it's not a comedy.
Yeah.
It just has his awkwardness and stuff is very.
His character buying into the concept is what makes it funny. I get it.
I can't wait to watch more of it because the first 2 episodes had me hooked, and that's saying a lot lately because there's not been a lot out that's really hooked me. But this show, and he came up with a name himself. He was trying to think of a cool name for himself instead of just his designation. He was like Murder Bot because he's always thinking about. Well, he was working on like a mining rig, and the humans would like because he can't do anything. Like they would do shit to him, and he'd just have to take it. Like one guy like burned his hand with a torch. I think in the first 2 seconds of the show, his opening line is something like, "Humans are assholes," and I think he's always thinking about doing harm to them, but he can't because of his programming. It's a good show. It's neat. So
I've been getting into The Last of Us.
Oh yeah, I'm watching that too.
Yep.
Great show.
You guys caught up season 2?
Oh yeah.
I can't say I am. I think I'm episode 3.
Yeah. Oh man,
I'm a little behind.
That last episode, man, had me crying like a baby at one point.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's been a really good show.
I read something that they need to come out with the season 4 to fully tell the story of the second video game.
Quite possible.
If that's the case, they have to come out with season 4, right?
I guess they're gonna have to. No other option.
I actually didn't care for the latest episode.
No,
I don't.
I liked it.
Which episode are you on now?
What is late? The latest episode was the flashback one, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, like 6 or 7.
Maybe, but I'm not going to give anything away for you, Wayne, when I say it's just a flashback episode. The entire episode is kind of like filling in some of the blanks that they glossed over with their time jumps.
Yeah.
You know how the show time jumps? Yeah. They just kind of just filling all that in, and it just, I didn't hate it, but it felt fillery to me. Like I'm ready for this. There's so much going on with the story. I want the story to progress. You know, I don't want to wait 2 weeks to find out what happened at the end of the last episode. It just felt fillery to me, or bad placement inserted. I would rather they did that on the very next episode after what happened.
So what I liked about it, and avoiding spoilers because it's a pretty new episode. Mm-hmm. I think when they put the flashback in, the timing wise, as far as like when they chose to inject it for the story, I think it makes sense, right? Because it kind of does that play with the audience a little bit with, hey, this is something that was known, right? It plays with the audience a little bit. That part I like about it.
I feel like maybe my vibe was that it was keep that actor around because he's such a draw to the show. So we need an episode in the middle of the season that keeps that actor around so that the people that miss that whole thing or miss that person wanted that in there.
Possibly. It could be just another way of, I mean, sometimes you break storytelling up to give different experiences and make people feel a different way, right? So you feel one way, then you kind of feel a different way, right? A little bit. There is some of that.
I mean, there's a million ways to look at anything like that. I mean, it's all about the perspective and interpretation you have when you're watching. I mean, some people love that kind of stuff. I've never been the guy like when I'll be watching some kind of competition show and they have that one episode that summarizes the season so far.
Yeah. I usually don't like that because it's not giving you enough, right? But for this, because of the way they did it, it didn't feel like that to me. Where usually it would, though. I would usually get that same feeling, but I guess I was just watching it with a different lens, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a different lens is a good way of putting it. I called it interpretation, but yeah, in the lens you go into, you get that impression in the first few seconds on how you're going to watch the show, and that's where all the paths diverge in the wood.
Yep.
Just, you never know which one you're going to go down. So, but yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, phenomenal show though. I've been liking it.
Yeah,
in general.
Great. I'm really vibing it. Really liking it. I was wondering if they were going to do more. Say Abby as the other character, because in the game you spend time as both characters, and I was wondering if they were going to spend a little bit more time with Abby being kind of a focal, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that. It looks like they have a little bit of time where it's just her without any of the other leading cast, but it's more of a what is the antagonist doing than it is anything else. So
sure,
but yeah. It's a great show. I'm enjoying it myself.
Yeah, I need to get caught up.
You do.
I need to stop watching my comfort show and start watching stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, nerds or Quintarians, it's been great recording tonight. It's been great hanging out. Thanks everybody for sticking around, watching this long. And guys, we'll catch you next time on the Nerd Pow Wow. Make sure to follow, like, and drop a comment.
Yeah, subscribe. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's see you guys.
See you guys.
See ya.